Every man eventually faces a moment he never believed would belong to him, the moment he breaks in front of the woman he gave everything to. And the part that rips you apart isn't the crying, or the shame, or the collapse of pride. It's the expression she wore when it happened, the stillness, the ease, the quiet relief spreading through her eyes like she'd been holding her breath for months, and your heartbreak finally allowed her to exhale. Notice how your chest tightened just remembering the image of her looking at you like that. What I'm about to tell you isn't kindness. It's the kind of truth men only understand after something inside them has already been destroyed. Because no one escapes this moment. No one makes it through this kind of pain without confronting the psychological trap built into avoidant women. And that's when the air shifted. Because if you misread this truth, life hits you hard. Harder than you think you deserve. Harder than the moment she walked away. The room held its breath as she watched you plead. You didn't see it then, but she did. She saw a man in emotional freefall, and instead of that igniting compassion, it confirmed something in her mind that she'd been trying to suppress for weeks, maybe months. She wasn't cold because she hated you. She was cold because your vulnerability validated her exit. Your pain became the proof she needed to justify leaving. Your tears were the closing argument in a decision she'd already made quietly, long before you knew anything was wrong. Listen closely, because this is the moment most men never notice. Avoidant women don't detach during the breakup, they detach long before it. The day everything collapsed wasn't the day she let go. It was the day she finally stopped pretending. And when you reached out, desperate to keep the foundation from shattering, she felt the opposite of what you felt. You were drowning. She felt light. You were holding on. She felt free. You were dying inside. She felt clarity. There was a quiet second, and everything clicked. But here's what no one tells you. If you don't understand the psychology behind that shift, you'll destroy yourself trying to make sense of someone whose emotional system is wired in reverse. Because dismissive avoidant women operate on a survival pattern. Closeness feels like danger. Distance feels like oxygen. And while you were falling in love, her fear was growing in the background like a shadow tightening around the edges. The closer you walked, the more she felt her space collapsing. The more you opened your heart, the more she felt her identity dissolving. Your love became the pressure she couldn't explain, the obligation she couldn't carry, the emotional gravity she was never built to withstand. And when you broke down, when you cried, when you tried to hold the relationship together with your bare hands, that pressure finally evaporated. That's why she felt relief. Let me pull you into the exact psychological moment you lived through, the moment you've been replaying at 3 a.m. without meaning to. You were standing there, maybe near a doorway, maybe in her apartment, maybe on a street where the noise felt muted, and something in your face cracked before you could stop it. Your fingers went still, your jaw tightened, your voice shook. You didn't choose to lose control, it just happened. And she saw everything. Inside your head, two truths collided so hard you felt nauseous. How can she be so calm right now? Why does it feel like she's already moved on? That's when you felt something strange inside yourself, an emotional contradiction. You felt colder, but sharper, like part of you stepped back just enough to witness the moment instead of drowning in it. Notice how your chest tightened again. The body doesn't forget. She looked at you with that distant stillness, not cruelty, not love, just detachment. The kind that comes from someone who spent weeks emotionally unplugging so the shock of the breakup wouldn't hit her at full force. The silence changed before the truth did, because you didn't realize the breakup wasn't the moment her feelings died. It was the moment her emotional escape plan completed. And right when you think it's over, it isn't. Because if you react wrong here, you fracture internally. This is where men lose the version of themselves they actually needed to keep. I could feel something inside me turning as I tell you this, because every man knows the sting of trying to hold someone whose heart already left the room, and this is where your suffering hit its peak. The more emotional you became, the safer she felt in her decision. That is the avoidant trap. You break down, she breaks free. Psychological truth number 1. Avoidant women experience emotional closeness as pressure on their nervous system. The very things you think build intimacy, deep talks, vulnerability, emotional exposure, register inside her as loss of autonomy. So when you opened up fully, she didn't feel bonded. She felt cornered. This is why she seemed happiest in the early days when everything felt effortless, and why the more you leaned in, the more she leaned back. Her nervous system wasn't rejecting you. It was defending her identity. Ignore this and the cycle traps you. Psychological truth number 2. The moment she decides the relationship is too heavy, her brain starts rehearsing the breakup internally long before you get any signs. She becomes emotionally efficient, pulling back in micro ways you think are stress or mood changes. But really, she's withdrawing to soften the impact on herself. This silent detachment phase is the delayed tension, reveal men never detect until it's too late. And when you finally see the distance, it's already permanent for her. Psychological truth number 3. Your emotional collapse releases dopamine in her system. Not because she enjoys your pain, but because it represents the final confirmation that she made the right choice. Her anxiety dissolves, her internal pressure drops, her emotional claustrophobia clears. While you're in hell, she is experiencing a freedom high. And that freedom high is why she looked like she could breathe for the first time in months. The room felt different all of a sudden. Psychological truth number 4. Avoidant women redefine the relationship only after you stop fighting for it. This is the metaphor I promised you. Imagine her emotional system like a room with one small window. When you step closer, the room heats up. When you pour your heart out, the oxygen thins. But when you collapse, the window opens. She didn't want to escape you. She wanted to escape the pressure of being needed in ways she doesn't know how to meet. Now you see what most men hide from. Psychological truth number 5. Your pain didn't push her away. It allowed her to let go of the guilt she hid under her calm exterior. Every tear you shed signaled to her that, yes, this breakup needed to happen. Not because you're weak, but because your emotional intensity confirmed a narrative in her mind, that she can't give you what you need. And when avoidant women believe they can't meet your emotional depth, their instinct is to retreat, not repair. And the last truth, the moment you cried was the moment she finally felt the internal pressure dissolve. That's the needle drop effect. That's why the air felt lighter around her. That's why her face softened in a way that felt cruel. She wasn't celebrating your collapse. She was celebrating her escape from an emotional suffocation. And if you ignore this truth, time will choose for you. Listen closely, because this is where men either rebuild themselves or they become a ghost of who they used to be.